So, Yella, I see you're out on some of the newer stuff, just, whiling away the morning. It's a beautiful day, as you can tell. It's Southern California, and this is what the deader of winter looks like, but I've got an idea, Yella. You interested? Well, I mean, this is going to happen anyway, so let's head over to the bench. Now that you're over here, I can break it down for you. I mean, you don't have portals, so you'll fit the wheels. And we're looking to find the worst crawling tires in the world. Asterisk, of course. Because it's obviously not the whole world. I don't own every tire in the world. But I have some, and some will be terribly suited to rock crawling, so let's have Lil Yella stripped down to a bare state. There we are. And we'll grab the first out of the bin, which are the control for this group. They are the 100% fake Pitbull rock beasts from Amazon. These are not rock beasts. Pitbull did not make these. As you can see, they look like rock beasts. They don't look out of place at all on those SCX 10.3 stock wheels. And what they're going to do is they're going to come out to this little section. That slick rock in the middle. The part Yella's driving up there does not have a name. I'm going to go down that backside, loop it around, and go straight up slick rock. It's going to be the same route cut every time for the whole group, the whole pile of tires that have been organized for this contest. And as you can see, this is why this is the control. The faux rock beast is a horrible tire. It's awful. Just listen to it scrabble away as it tries to crawl up what is not a astoundingly difficult ascent. But it manages to make it in the end, just barely, establishing the baseline time of 53 seconds. Just for frame of reference, here's a cut of Yella climbing the same exact sequence with its day-to-day tires, J-Concepts hunks. This is not sped up footage. That's just how it did it in 13 seconds. So, on to the countdown. And I should point out that this is a reversed order. I'm making air quotes, the best tire finishes last. So, number 10. These have been in the tire bucket a long time. The sidewall simply says Bulldog, spelled exactly like that. They are straight up 8th scale buggy tires with like little kind of dog bone shaped tread on them. I don't know who makes them. I know GRP still makes a tire named the Bulldog, but I have no idea. These have been around nearly forever. But I guess those little dog bones, they must grab pretty good, because the Bulldog ran that in 24 seconds. Less than half the time of the control group. And I genuinely thought about disqualifying the Bulldog from the list of worst crawler tires, because it's actually a fairly capable tire. Like, the foam in there is hard, and the rubber is not particularly soft either. I mean, this is 8th scale buggy stuff. These things are built for RPM and jumping. This is a loam tire, and it doesn't do too bad. Anyway, on to number 9, which is one of my longtime favorite short course tires, the Hot Body's oddly spelled Rodeo, the Rodeo SC. It's just a good tire. Like, it looks like a proper tire. You throw it on some DE Trinidads, it's a good looking tire. It doesn't look out of place on Yella at all. And despite it being old, this is one of Slash 8's original set of tires from around 2010. It manages the loop in 27 seconds, just behind the Bulldogs. Which brings us to number 8. Another of the short course offerings, the J-Concepts Barcodes SC. This is a dedicated clay tire, and I think that was relatively advantageous for the Barcodes, as clay compounds tend to be pretty soft. Like they generally burn out pretty quickly. Luckily, this is pretty much a proprietary clay compound from J-Concepts, so these tires haven't dry rotted into oblivion. The foams in them are quite hard. Clay racing is like racing on carpet, so you don't want tires with a lot of give. So I was genuinely surprised by the ability of these to make it up at all. And they did it in 46 seconds, still faster than the Control. Right on to number 7, the ArmaD Boots Fortress SC, which is in and of itself an unremarkable tire. It looks like any other 2230 short course tire out there. It is neither grippy nor slippy. The compound feels okay. The rear axle got hung up pretty badly because it didn't occur to me initially that the ground clearance on these might not be as good as some of the others, even taking 8-scale buggy tires into account. The compound is a decidedly basher compound, so these don't really work. And most annoyingly, they're one of those tires on 14mm hexes. So the only tire here on 14mm hexes. But it finishes in under a minute, 57 seconds. And had the rear axle not gotten hung up there, it probably would have beaten the Control tire. Which moves us right on to number 6. Which is another economy buggy tire purchase from many moons ago, the Venom Voltage 45. It's a mini pin. It's on some big, like 10 spoke. It's not a bad tire for like dry and dusty conditions, but it's really poorly suited to climbing a rock. Venom made these tires specifically where the inside of the tire has like longitudinal belts in it, and then the molded, close-cell molded foams have matching lines and they like lock in together. On high power stuff, 8-scale buggy stuff, these are actually really good. Like, they're a very controllable tire. But as one would expect, the compound is hard and the foam is firm, so they are both hard and firm. But they make it to the top in a not horrific 60 seconds. I mean, it looks like a donk, but I think the tires really punched above their weight. And on to number 5, which I almost excluded just because I don't know what they are. We've always called them like Autocross tires. They have that kind of, you see those like V-looking tread on the 5 spokes. Don't know where we got these. Don't know how long I've had them. But I do know if I throw these on like the SC8, they are basically drift tires. These act like slicks. They are rock hard. And they're meant for like 8th scale GT cars. So it's not surprising that they are shaved smooth round rocks. So like it will just spin. But it doesn't fall off too much. It has to take quite a few bites at it. I started to kind of fiddling with using more wheel speed to see if I could get up via wheel speed alone, because they were providing next to no traction. I honestly don't know how it wasn't just sliding back down. But all in all, I mean, I guess if it had caught a lucky line early on, it probably could have been in that same around a minute time range. But with so little grip and so much slip, it's tough to drift vertically. So when these actually cleared up to the top, I was genuinely surprised. Minute and 37 seconds. Expected. On to number 4. And the tire that just missed out on a podium spot. The musically named GRP GT-T01 Revo S7. These are speedrun tires. They are as hard as rocks. The foam, again, I'm making air quotes with my fingers right now, is like a rubber band. These have almost no compliance to them at all. You can hear them clattering against the surface, as one would expect them to do. I believe these GRPs are rated to over 100 miles an hour. So I don't think they're really using up all they've got. But you have to be asking yourself at this point, dear viewer, how could the GRP Revo S7 finish 3rd? Like 4th, I'm sorry. How could it finish 4th? That means there are 3 tires worse than this. The tread there is vestigial. These might as well be complete slicks because they're so hard, and yet even at the same time they're so small around that I tried even getting it to like drift around in the dirt, and I can't generate enough wheel speed. Like, these are maybe 3 3/8 inches tall, but somehow it made it to the top in 1 minute and 46 seconds, which is only 10 seconds slower than the Venoms. And that brings us to number 3, our first podium setter. And wouldn't you know, it's a Pitbull. It's even the Rock Beast, but it's the Rock Beast XOR BSC, Basher compound. These tires are hard. Like, the rubber could be molded ABS. And the foams, I'm sure, are closed cell, because these things are designed for some RPMs. These are the day-to-day bashing around tires that have been on my SC8, my associated SC8, for probably 10 years. They're starting to get some little age cracks on the inside sidewalls on the 3-inch side on the short course wheel. And they would find no purchase. I at this point still theorize that the only reason these tires made it to the top of Slick Rock is I spun them enough to warm the tires up to at least the temperature of the rocks, which enabled them to grab some purchase, because this was like trying to ice skate uphill. These tires, I thought, well, we've got a winner because these are going to DNF it, because I'm just going to give up. But they didn't. Pitbull makes it to the top. Little burp up over the top. Even fell back and got back on. And did it in a blistering 1 minute and 47 seconds. Which, if you'll recall, to back about just 2 minutes ago, that's only 1 second slower than the speedrun tires, which will give you an idea how hard XORs are. On to number 2, the silver metal finisher. It's another mouthful, the big mouthful. The Traxxas BF Goodrich Mud Terrain TA SCT. Yes, these are the tires that come stock on a Traxxas Slash. Anyone who's ever driven a Traxxas Slash can attest. These are stones. These are the epitome of basher tires. I feel genuinely in my heart of hearts that they literally just make these out of the same compound that BF Goodrich car tires are made out of. These are that hard. I think you could take the foams out and you would get no sidewall flex whatsoever. They are impossibly hard. And these came off, I'm quite sure, the first Slash I ever bought, back when my kids were like, oh, I don't know, 7 or 8. And as I mentioned in another video, thought RC cars were cool at the time. Now it's the TikTok. So these tires have been around. They've been used for all sorts of things. The rubber still looks practically new. Like, it almost looks like it has no wear on it. And I've put these on the SC8 and drifted it around the Foursquare courts over at the local middle school or elementary school. And you can drift these pretty good because they have about the same amount of grip as ABS rings. And like I say, you've got hardness and you've got firmness. And these are as hard as you can get and as firm as you can get. I didn't think I was going to make it. But managed to pull up to the top in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Broke the 2-minute barrier. Which brings us to the top of the pile. The king of the hill. The decidedly not cream of the failed crop. And I don't even think it's controversial. It didn't have the slowest time. But that doesn't matter. Because it's awful. And today, we saw basically 9 tires that are not crawling tires by any stretch of the imagination. Perform crawling tasks, at least to completion, if not moderately well. And then we have, by comparison, these, which, if you do a search on Amazon for crawler tires, these come up. And you'll see the picture and think to yourself, hey, those look just like Rock Beasts, but they're only like $29.99 a set with wheels. I'll give those a try. And then they'll sit there on a rock and just spin forever. They are the definition of the worst. It doesn't matter what foams you put in them. It doesn't matter what rims you put them on. It doesn't matter what you try to assault. I think if I approach this obstacle with a Traxxas Slash with some silly putty crammed in the differential, I think it could breach this obstacle with more ease and more quickly. Had to move the camera over and give a little zoom here to just show the utter futility of these things trying to climb even a simple obstacle. This isn't even transitioning. It's got all 4 wheels on concrete or rock. And it could literally do this all day. Like, the worst OE tire is better than this. So there it is. The 100% fake Pitbull Rock Beast. The worst crawling tires in the world. So now that I've arrived at what is arguably a foregone conclusion, Yella, what do you think we should do about it? I mean, alright, you get out of the way, and I'll get down to it. There's really only one solution for this. I mean, some problems can be remedied. Some problems can be addressed. But there's only one thing I can think of to do with this selection of... I can't even call them tires at this point. We're going to save the parts that are useful. I mean, they may be plastic beadlocks, but I can't just throw them away. We'll dump them in this bin. And that is the bin of forgetting. It will be placed under the bench in a place that I will forget where I put those and all the hardware. Yep. Those are gone forever now. We're going to grab these, and we're going to go on a trip. It's not a long trip. Forgive the mess. We're going to go outside. We're going to take these guys on a little walk. This is why I need a bigger cart to move rigs. This is how far I have to walk. I know, woe is me, right? So we're going to take them over here to their now and forever home. And we bid adieu to the fake rock beasts in delightful slow motion. That's without question the fastest those tires have ever moved. The worst! Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope we had a good time. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. I hope to see you in the next one.